Hello, my lovely rose garden, and welcome to Creative Writing Basics. My name is Avalon Roselin, indie author, and your creative writing instructor for the evening. My next video in this series was going to start on writing specific tropes and genres, and I am still working on a script for that. But in the meantime, there's something I wanted to address. Something that has been an issue in the literary community many times over. As in, over the course of scripting this video, it has come up no less than 4 separate times as a major point of distress and drama on several other writing and book-focused channels. So what I am about to say isn't new, and isn't especially groundbreaking. But I feel that as someone who is both a reviewer and an indie author, who has the ability to see both sides, as it were, maybe my perspective can help some people understand this issue and how to properly handle it. And that topic is what to do when you get a bad review. First, you'll need to know that bad is relative. What people consider to be a bad review varies. Personally, I think the only bad review is one that maliciously and intentionally misinterprets the book in order to attack the author or directly attacks the author based on their identity or personal interactions. Those are not the kinds of bad reviews I'm talking about in this video. When I say quote-unquote bad reviews in the context of this video, what I mean are reviews that are critical, reviews from people that would not recommend your book, or reviews that are simply less than 5 stars. But Avalon, you might be saying, isn't that exactly what a bad review is? And I would say no, because reviews are for readers. This is a phrase that I will be repeating a lot in this video. Reviews are for readers. Let's start there. The purpose of a review is for potential readers to browse to see if they might be interested in the book. That's it. It's no different than looking at reviews on an Amazon product before you add it to the cart, and every reader is going to have different things they're looking for out of a book, and therefore it's reviews. Because book reviewers now have their own platforms, some reviews get out to a large number of people. But I need to emphasize this. A book reviewer with a big audience not liking your book and giving it a bad review does not necessarily mean the book will fail. Now, I don't know about you, but I watch a lot of booktubers and read many different book review blogs, and my views do not 100% align with the views of those reviewers. I do not select content based on how closely it matches my taste, but how entertaining I think the reviewer is, and rant reviews are entertaining. And sometimes I want the book that was ranted about. Yes, even if the reviewer trashed it. For example, booktubers trash SJM books all the time, myself included, and her books are still massively successful bestsellers. I've seen a lot of people talking negatively about Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed, but some of the controversy around the content of that book makes me want to read it to see if it is that bad, or if these topics are just squicks for the reviewers. Maybe an indie book wouldn't reach that level of clout, but a critical review is not the end of the world, and also not for the author. Reviews are for readers. On the other hand, sometimes I will be maybe interested in a book, look up some reviews, and see that it has something in it that I absolutely hate, which would cause me to give it a negative review, and that tells me to avoid reading it. That one bad review might have spared that book several more from readers who would have had similar concerns or squicks. This is what I mean when I say reviews are for readers. Reviews help the right readers find your book. That is true whether it's a glowing 5-star review raving about how much that person loved it, or a scathing 1-star review that gives the book a brutal beatdown. All of these reviews are going to help the book find the right audience, which is what you, as the author, should want to happen. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that authors can shut off their emotional connection to their work and be totally unaffected by a review they perceive as negative. It is valid to have your feelings hurt by people trashing a story that you worked hard on, especially if you poured your own experiences into it. So now on to the larger point of this video, how to handle those feelings in a healthy and professional way. Step 1, don't read reviews. This is one of the most oft-repeated pieces of advice I've seen for authors. Don't read the reviews. They aren't there for us, they're there for the readers. The feedback that you need to pay attention to is the feedback that comes from your critique partners, beta readers, editors, and the other people who are actually involved in helping you with the writing process. Once the book is published and out in the world, people's reactions to it are only your concern if there's some kind of serious issue that means you need to hire a sensitivity reader for your next project or something like that. Something that is going to affect the production of the next book. If you don't think you can engage with negative opinions of your work or just don't want to deal with that emotional damage, don't. You don't have to. A lot of people would say that you shouldn't. But maybe you're like me and are super nosy and want to know what people are saying about your writing. Let's cast off the pretense that all authors are able to resist the allure of knowing what people think of your book and focus on internalizing Step 2. Never reply to a review. If you failed Step 1 and absolutely cannot stop yourself from reading reviews, then you need to be able to stop yourself from replying to them because they aren't for you. They're for the readers. And you are not a reader in this case. There was one time early on in my publishing career where I replied to a Goodreads review, not even in a way I perceived as negative, and I still regret it to this day because it was awkward. Very rarely are reviewers expecting the author of the book to respond to their comments, and it creates roughly the same level of awkwardness as talking about someone with a friend in private, not even necessarily in a bad way, and then that person walks in because they heard the whole conversation. It's just uncomfortable at best, and unprofessional or antagonistic at worst. I would think this next point would be obvious given this, but as a number 2.5, never ask your friends, family, or fans to attack a reviewer on your behalf, and if they do on their own, tell them to stop. This is only going to negatively impact your own reputation, even if you're not the one directly replying. Just don't respond. And remember, we are not talking about reviews that are coming at you because, let's say, you're a trans author and the TERFs are trying to review bomb your book. In that case, the correct response is to report the review to the platform it's hosted on, or leave it up to scare away the transphobes and boost your engagement numbers. I don't know, I'm not in charge of you or the algorithm. Anyway, Step 3, practice self-care. If you are going to look at your reviews and you see a negative one, then you need to have some kind of self-care so you aren't tempted to reply or focus on that review, because it is not for you, it is not about you. Again, full acknowledgement here. Authors are people with feelings, and we are going to sometimes do things that are not super professional because no one can be on all the time. The point of this section right here is that all of the following things are to be done in private, not publicly where readers and reviewers can see them. Self-care idea 1, save some positive reviews. When I get a nice compliment about my writing, a positive review, or fan art, I screenshot it and save it in my feel-good folder on my Google Drive. This folder is just for me to look at when I'm having a bad day, whether that's because of a critical review or my general debilitatingly low self-esteem. It's just nice to have lots of positivity about my work in one place, and it makes me feel better. Self-care idea 2, be a petty bitch. In private. Complain to your close friends who you know will not seek out the review about it in a space that is private. That means not on Twitter or TikTok or any other social media. and avoid posting the review directly anywhere. I am in a Discord server with my close personal friends who I have known for several years, and we have a dedicated channel in that server to bitch about random things amongst each other, with the acknowledgement that what is said there stays there, with no links posted if the source of the salt is online and interactable. I would not do this in a public server where I don't know the people as well and can't guarantee that they won't go white knight on my behalf. Self-care idea number 3, touch grass. Go outside. Leave the review space entirely. Log out of Goodreads and go do something you enjoy in the real physical world to get your mind off it. It can be hard not to hyper-focus on a negative review, but at the end of the day, it is one person's opinion and does not define you or your writing. Just leave it alone and go do something else. I like to create something that gives me the instant joy of holding something I created in my hands, like baking cookies or working on my scrapbook. Something not writing related, preferably. So, to summarize, reviews are for readers, not authors. Don't engage with reviews. If you absolutely must look at your reviews, don't let anyone know that you did it publicly, and never, never, never harass reviewers, because they are doing unpaid labor on your book's behalf to help you find the right audience, and you should be grateful for every single review, even the ones you might think are bad. This does not mean that authors can't discuss trends in reviews in author spaces. There have been times that authors, usually several across a particular subgenre, have keyed in on trends in reviews and discussed these trends amongst themselves. While doing so, they keep the topic general so as not to respond to the reviews directly, nor expose specific reviews or reviewers to the backlash of their fans. So, there you have it. If you're an author, indie or otherwise, I hope you've learned a valuable lesson today about handling reviews that might hurt your feelings. Remember, reviews are for readers, not authors. And venting is for private conversations with your friends, not your public social media profile. Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to my patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or in the description below, please consider joining my Patreon. Your support means so much to me and allows me to continue making content. If you want to support my content in different ways, consider buying my books, donating on Ko-fi, subscribing to the channel, or even just giving this video a like and comment. Any and everything is appreciated so much. Keep growing till next time, Rose Garden!